Hello and welcome to Watchworthy. It's your co-host, Brother Ash.
And I'm Miss Christy.
And on today's episode of Watchworthy, we're going to be covering Black Twitter, A People's History. Drum roll, please.
Yes.
Super excited about this documentary that they was doing it this year. 2024 is when we started to hear about it. At least me. Did you?
No, I didn't know that this was coming, so I was happy to see this. And I think it is perfect time, Twitter's been out for a little while, so.
Dope. So yeah, it just came out this year in 2024. It is a docuseries, so it's 3 parts. So we're going to kind of just cram everything into this short episode, but you guys should definitely go back and watch it. A whole bunch of funny memes. We won't touch on everything in the documentary, but definitely watchworthy for sure. This was based on an article by Jason Parham for Wired, and it was directed by Prentice Penny. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of him. He was the showrunner for Insecure, so I'm obsessed with Issa and Insecure and everything. So
I'm just like not in that world of showrunners and shit. Like
so let's talk about it. Like
I know Issa Rae, like that's as deep
really
as it goes.
into the media and stuff. So were you like really into Twitter? Did you really care?
Nah, because Twitter. No offense to nobody, but Twitter was always about opinions, and that's something that I never really was too high on my on my list. So I was on it a lot when I first got it, and then like as I got to college, I kind of stopped being on it a lot. And then like once I left college, I almost like went invisible from Twitter for real. So like I would just have the account so I could look at funny shit. But my Twitter account is.
Yeah, my Twitter account, I have about 1,000 followers, no brag, just a little.
Yeah, I have about 1,000 followers.
I mean, that's really not a lot on Twitter, but for everyday user, I obviously worked in the media. I had to run somebody's Twitter page for a living, so I was heavily involved in the platform. And in my own personal use, I've been on it since 2012, and I kind of just read Twitter like the newspaper. So that's really, I'm very heavily involved. We're like opposites, babe.
Well, it's cool that they're covering this now because, us millennials, we got to see the entrance of Twitter. We got to see it change to X and whatever that is going on right now. I do know about that. But they already have a documentary about it, kind of just keeping history of, what Twitter has been for the culture, Black Twitter specifically.
Yeah.
So while you watch, our Q&A question for this week will be, what comes after Black Twitter?
That's a good question because it's like Twitter, like you said, Twitter's already X, and now it's on TikTok, now it's Twitch, now it's Discourse. So there's always going to be something next, but I feel like Black people, we always are trendy. Like we know what's on trend,
Mm-hmm.
So definitely this documentary will make you think about that. So let's start off with the fact that Black people aren't really a lot in technology, right? Like that's by design. It's just like a white Silicon Valley boys club. And it feels like Black people, we're not thought of at the forefront of technology, but this documentary actually said that in the early 2000s, Black people were on the internet. We were on sites like blackplanet.com, Net Noir, and even MySpace. The early days was MySpace. Black people thought we was coders. Like, did you have Top 8 and all that? I wasn't on MySpace.
Y'all gonna crack. I'm about to say I never had a MySpace,
But they even talked about in this documentary, like before there was a Twitter, there was MySpace, and white people it was like white flight on MySpace. As soon as Black people got on, they didn't want Black people near their stuff.
I love white flight.
Yeah.
I love white flight.
You're happy for them to get going?
Hell yeah. Whenever Black people can intimidate white people
So red flag for me, I guess. Yeah. Not for white flight. Well, yes, for the white flight, but also because Black people aren't really in tech a lot. And so Twitter came about because Jack Dorsey, we all know Jack from like social media. He like hangs out with Jay-Z and everybody now. Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. We all know that. We all know that guy.
Like you said, babe, this documentary I feel like is going to be niche. Like if people know about it, they know about it. If you don't know about Black Twitter, then
I've probably seen him before or some shit or heard about, whatever he does.
Well, Jack Dorsey is the white guy who created Twitter, and he is very chummy with Jay-Z.
Got you.
And so he was working. This was a total accident. He was working on a podcasting project, and then Twitter came about. So this was just like a little side project to him. But it was really Black people who made it like increase and advance. And so that's how, Black Twitter came about. Not a lot of people knew about the app, but Black people, like I said, we're just early adopters. We catch on first. And so we started joining and we were like, oh, you can make friends from people across the internet, across the country, people you would never get to see before.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm literally about to be somebody's bridesmaid, and we met on Twitter. So, we met in person and then stayed friends on Twitter. So it's really crazy how relationships can form across the internet. And in those early days, Black people, we just saw the prompt on there. Remember when it said like, "What's happening?" It would ask you,
Yeah,
"What's
yeah,
happening?"
yeah.
You only had 140 characters to say whatever was on your mind. Like you said, it was opinions. People used to be like, "This is what I'm having for breakfast today." You know, like
Facts.
Twitter really started out like that, innocent.
Facts.
And
Yeah.
there was really no strategy back then. And that's mind blowing to me. As I said, somebody who worked in social media strategy before, now it's all like, you got to get clicks, you got to get views. Back then, people were literally just like, just woke up on my way to
Word.
school.
That was my Twitter account. Like this is why I didn't like sustain it all of these years, because
Yeah.
after a while I just stopped caring to do that.
Yeah,
So,
nobody wants to know what you're having breakfast
word,
no more.
Word.
So, like you said, on Twitter, it's really a lot of people who are punchy, funny. You add something useful. You have a tip for somebody to remember, okay? And so, with that, they talked about how that goes back to our Black roots. Not to get all Black history on y'all, but it is a little bit of Black history. Like the fact that we were able to take our pain and make gospel music, or take the scraps and make soul food. We took an app that nobody was really using. It was a little side project, and we made it blow up. Period. That's what
Yeah.
this documentary is about.
And like you said, Twitter serves as news platforms and information platforms for people. It's really just about your algorithm, what you're on Twitter for, you know?
I tell people that all the time because people nowadays will say, "Oh, Twitter's so toxic." That's based on who you follow. That's any social media. If you don't like what you're seeing, you have the power to
I don't know
unfollow.
though. I think the toxic folk have penetrated.
Yeah, that's true.
No space is safe
Yeah.
anymore. You could post a picture of your kids, and somebody will be like,
They'll have
"Oh,
something to say.
did y'all notice how them kids' shorts was wrinkled? Like they're fucking 8 years old. Of
Yeah,
course they shorts
especially on
wrinkled.
Twitter. Twitter will find anything to
Like
pick at.
goddamn.
But nevertheless, Black Twitter has really become a community. It's joy, it's freedom, it's dynamic. We can finally say what we want to say. I know personally, in the early days of Twitter, I was wilding. I hope nobody finds my old tweets.
She.
Red flag for the old tweets, please, because I feel like it's very easy to just search, like you said, search the platform and see what I was saying 15 years ago.
Whatever they find about me, look,
Yeah, apologize now.
I'm not apologizing for shit.
They go, Brother Ash was
I never-
using the N-word in 2009.
I'm Black. Suck my dick.
All right,
nigga.
moving on. So, like we said, the people that get it. You know what Twitter is, especially Black Twitter. They said in the documentary, in those early days, in the early 2000s, people were like, how do I get on Black Twitter? Is it a special invite? Is it a tab? Is it a link? No, it's just a vibe. It's not even a physical space. It's just this area of Twitter where people are just, you know what I'm saying? It's not even
Yeah.
like a...
If you're looking for Black stuff, you'll find it.
Exactly.
It's no secret.
And it's also, like you said, secret sauce of it all is like the randomness. You never know when something's just gonna go viral on Twitter one day, and it
Yeah.
happens in real time. If you miss it,
Yeah.
you miss it. Literally, as we're speaking now, there was the whole rap beef between Kendrick and Drake lately.
Yeah.
I was seeing diss tracks on the timeline. Is it real? Is it AI? I don't know what's going
Twitter
on.
was probably going
Yeah,
crazy.
it was
with
going
this show.
crazy. That's
You-
how I was looped in.
You people are so impressive with these memes, y'all.
Oh
come up
yeah,
with.
we'll get to that. Like, how do niggas get all this graphic design skills? Y'all using it to create memes. So, that's how Twitter was in the early onsets. Black Twitter, we really felt like we were finally getting our voices. We were finally being seen, especially when Twitter access was democratized, because it wasn't even available to iPhone for a little while. You used to have to
Oh, yeah?
text a tweet. Yeah. So those was the really early days. That was before I joined.
Wow.
Yeah. But Twitter learned, okay, this is no longer a little side project. This is starting to catch on. And they said in the documentary, to thrive, you need people, especially Black people. Like, I think America has learned in marketing, advertising, you need to cater to Black people.
We just do shit really cool.
Yeah.
We do.
We're the culture. We
Like-
are.
Come on.
And they said as Black Twitter grew, so did their valuation of $250 million. Now people are looking like, oh, what's this little app giving Facebook a run for its money? Remember when there was only Facebook and then it was like Facebook and Twitter? And so this is like the 2010s when Facebook,
Yeah.
when Twitter starts to catch on. And that's probably why they started to hire Black people in the corporate offices. So red flag.
Red flag.
You didn't think you needed Black people in the corporate offices. You didn't think you need a VP of culture until Black people started getting in and started getting their voice. And now you're like, oh, let's pick this demographics brain. You see, like, they hire us when they need us. And
Yeah.
then they let us go later when diversity is not important. So, Black Twitter, again, if you're not catching on by now, at the end of the day, it's really just Black people roasting each other, shooting the dozens, we just have our own linguistic innovation with, like you said, the creation of memes, GIFs, basically they credited black people with creating memes in this documentary, and I think we really can say that. Like,
Yeah. Nah,
we
that's us.
started talking with moving GIFs on Twitter
Word.
before Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat ever did it.
And it could be like the actual GIF could be some 100% unrelated to the context of
Right.
what's going on. But like, if you know what the GIF is, you kind of know how it's relevant to whatever's going on.
Exactly. And that goes back to like our black culture. Like, we could just be like, girl,
Yeah.
girl. And we know like which one is which.
Because I've never even seen that reality show, but I know what that means when two black women do that shit.
Yes. And speaking of television, they talked about how in the early 2000s there was a lack of black TV because remember, Girlfriends, Moesha, Sister, they all got cut. And it's like when white people pull their dollars, we don't have nothing for ourselves anymore. Oh, guess our chance on TV is gone. And so they talked about how with Black Twitter, we started making our own storytelling. You see, now we have threads and people are like, oh, story time. That came from black culture. Like, let me sit you down and tell you this story.
Red flag.
Red flag.
Red flag for some of y'all story times.
Like the why did MF get married or whatever?
It just be some of these story times. I just be like, you want people to know this about you?
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. Especially the why did I get married? That was very embarrassing to me.
Word.
I'm like, why are you sharing this in 50 parts?
Anything for likes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the content creation has gotten to a point where it's a little clout chasing, but look at what happened. She got a show. So it works. It continues to work over and over again. Black people doing crazy stuff.
Do you, fam?
Yeah. And so they even said back then, now black people are the ones driving the news. We're telling the stories on Twitter. And people started taking our tweets and putting it in their little BuzzFeed articles in the 2010s. And they still do that today. I see it all the time.
Hell yeah.
Where let's put so-and-so on Ellen DeGeneres show. Did you invite them on the show? Did you ask them to do the dance? No, you invited the white person.
Yeah.
So we still see that today.
Hope they at least reach out to
That's
them.
why I'm trying to wonder, can you copyright a tweet?
I don't know. This is all your realm, babe.
Yeah.
I'm just just a guy on the
You use social media too though, but like what if you tweeted something and then Drake stole it and put in his song? Like,
yeah, I would think that I have the right to know that, but what if in my terms and condition I agreed to not have
yeah, we gonna get to that too. And so speaking of the 2010s, we learned that black people are really only allowed to influence the culture. They don't want us to influence politics. They don't want us to influence, what have you in America. But culture will let y'all rock with that one. We'll let y'all have the music and the comedy and the food. And so when it came to the Obama era, Obama's America, 2008 to 2016, that was really the highlight of Black Twitter. That was like the Black Twitter golden era. They said that Obama was really one of those first politicians to embrace Twitter. Yeah. And even today, now we see celebrities are all on Twitter. Everybody is using the app. But before, celebrity and people weren't using it like that. And Obama embraced that. His community embraced him. We helped get him elected essentially by galvanizing on Twitter. And so he was really a power for change. It was a time on Twitter. We had my president is black. My Lambo is blue.
Yeah.
Like it was a big party on Twitter. They even talked about how Rihanna, when celebrities started to get on Twitter, celebrities had beef. Rihanna was beefing with Cece.